Hello, welcome to this Follower Academy webinar with me, David Jones, and Aondo Markets. If you're watching the recorded version of this, it was held live on Tuesday, October the 10th at 7:30 in the evening. So the webinar should run, I think, about 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes. And it's we're just going to take a slow walk through the idea of copy trading, where you follow the traders. We'll have a look at top traders' track records, the sort of people who are available to follow, and I'll add them to a live account that's also been following some traders since the last webinar we did, which was about a month ago. So we'll go right from the basics through to actually doing this and following traders. I'll just leave the risk warning up for a bit longer. I'm maybe a late convert to the idea of copy trading or follow trading. I first started doing it about 18 months. I worked in the spread betting, the CFD business for the last 10 years. I've traded for myself for nearly 20 years now. And I think it's a really interesting idea to almost build up a portfolio of traders that you follow with a predefined level of risk that you're comfortable with, to try and maybe smooth out some of the day-to-day volatility of trading. And you'll see this as we go through. I still trade quite a bit for myself, but I think it's a handy add-on, I think, to your own way of trading, if you trade a lot for yourself anyway, or if you want some exposure to the market, a way of doing it if you feel, I think like many people do, that they don't have the time or maybe even the inclination to do it. But let's get started. So what we're going to do, basic principles of this, identifying profitable traders. So there are hundreds of traders on the Aondo platform who make themselves available to be followed. So they show their track records, their P&L, you can see the stuff they've traded, how well, how badly they've done, and then you can choose which traders you might like to follow. And then on from that, you can build a portfolio. So you can have up to 5 traders in your portfolio, and as you'll see, what happens is the trades they do get automatically executed on your account at a level of risk that you decide. So let's say there's somebody you follow who's trading with 100 grand, and on one trade they risk losing 2 grand. It doesn't mean they'll risk losing 2 grand on your account if you've only got a 1,000 quid account, for example. But you can dial the level of risk to a level that you're comfortable with. So we'll be doing that as well. So that's the managing risk part. And there are, I think, 2 or 3 different aspects to that mean you can get the risk pretty much, nailed down on an individual trade basis and also on an account basis. So we'll do that this evening as we go through. And then we'll monitor positions. Clearly once the traders are up and running, my approach is very much hands-off, just to let them get on with it. If we spend the time trying to pick half-decent traders to follow, the next idea is just to let them get on with trading and see how it goes. But it's very easy to monitor these positions and drill down to what's going on, and we'll do all of that this evening in the next 45 minutes. So let's get started. So stage 1, we are going to log on to the platform. So the social trading platform on Aondo is called WeTrade. We'll have a look at the rankings list. We'll look at some sort criteria. Then we'll drill down into that data in a bit more detail. So where is it? Here we go. Right, so we've gone right to the beginning here. So I've gone to the Aondo trading platform. I've chosen WeTrade and then click on Login. So this is an account I've set up for these webinars. So it's been running for a while now, and I sort of chop and change the people I'm following for every webinar. But so here's a really high-level view. So what we want to look at, first of all, let's assume we're not following anybody. So we'll start off by looking at traders. So this is the bit we're going to focus on, the top traders. This is the bit where we have a look at, in effect, the league tables. So how it works is, so you could do this yourself, but if you're a trader with Aondo, you can effectively make your account public. So your track record will be up there, and people can choose to follow you or not follow you, and then just mimic every trade. And then clearly there's a financial reward in it for the people whose trades you're following, and they get they get remunerated based on how many followers they've got, the sort of trades to do, that sort of thing. So clearly it's in their interest as well to be profitable traders. But let's just start off. We've got this over the last 12 months or so. let's just switch that off for now. So what we found up here, going right from the top, let's make this full screen, so it might be a bit clearer. So we've got top traders found 842. So what that means is there are 842 traders on the Aondo platform who potentially we could follow. So 842 men and women who make their trading track record available to be viewed. For me, the logical place to start from is P&L. So to sort them by, right, who are the best performers. So here we go. So number one, top trader over the last 12 months is this one here, Peter Lloyd 5757. So Peter Lloyd 5757 has turned in a 294% return over the last 12 months. So that's a really impressive headline figure, almost trebled their trading account over the period that we're looking at. So for me, that's always a good place to start. Let's see who's actually turning in a good performance. But it's not just a matter of picking out the top traders, because results can be distorted. You might have had let's say 10 months where you just lost a couple of percent a month, and then month 11 and 12 you decide to just go hell for leather and risk everything, and lo and behold, the market does go in your favor, so you end up with a great annual performance. So there is more to it than just looking at annual performance. But there we go, Peter Lloyd 757. Ravel Bermudo is the second one, 217%. This one down here, Giuseppe, actually, he came up on the last webinar, so I think I'm following him already in my portfolio. So Giuseppe turned in a 91% return, and so it goes on. So you scroll down and we get to maybe slightly more sensible numbers the further we go down the list. So that's a really high-level view of who's been doing what. But the other, for me, an important one is if you are trading on a demo account on Aondo, you can also make your track record available to be viewed. So some of these people aren't actually trading with real money, and one of my most basic criteria is, well, if I'm going to follow you with my real money, you have to be trading with your own real money. So how do we look at that? Well, if they're trading with real money, they'll have an R next to their name. So if we go through the first four, the first one who's trading with real money, Giuseppe, there, Basti isn't, and Votan is the next one who's trading with real money. So for me, it's a really important filter, this real money filter. So I'm going to switch that on up here. So I go top right, sorry, up here. Filter real money traders. So I want to take everybody out who's trading on a demo account. If they haven't got the confidence to risk their own money, then I'm not going to risk my money by following them. So let's click on RMT. There we go. So now it's changed. We've got 223 traders who are trading with real money, and we maybe have now slightly more realistic returns. Still very impressive returns in the top 10, but a bit more realistic than some of the triple-digit returns we were seeing. So the best trader over the last 12 months is Giuseppe, or Giuseppe, however it's pronounced, real money trader. Then there's Votan coming in with 84%. Barbara, who's notched in 66%. DAX Call 3 as a regular in these. DAX Call 2, which I think is the same person with a slightly different approach, all the way down here. Okay, so it's very easy to see, okay, which people are actually risking their own money. Someone's just typed in crazy DD though. Yes, because it's not just about the profits. Okay, and we're going to drill down and find out a bit more information, because this figure is arguably as important, maybe even more important than how profitable they are, because DD is drawdown. So DD is, okay, you made 91% in the year, for example, Mr. Giuseppe, but how much of that profit did you give back along the way? And this is, a barometer for how volatile the account was going to be. Let's say you gave me some money to follow, and you were following me, and I'd made 100% last year, but along the way I had a drawdown of 90%. It means I would have lost 90% of the account over the year, even though I ended up 100%. It was a pretty bumpy ride. So I think one thing, again for me, what I want to go for is a balance between a healthy reward and not too crazy a drawdown. And here's a good example here. I'm sure this is what I'm following already, but number 4, DAX Call 3. So DAX Call 3, the P&L over the last year has made 54%, and but a drawdown of 12%. Now I think that's a really healthy balance. So along the way, DAX Call 3 has only given up 54% of 12% of profits along the way. We have 33%. So Votan gave up a third. Giuseppe gave up slightly more than a third. Let's scroll through to the next ones along. So this one here, High Trade, gave up 40% along the way, and you can see it in the P&L. P&L was doing well, had a terrible time, and then has bounced back. So for me, if I'm following other traders, I don't want to see, massive levels of volatility. I want to have a bit more of a smoother ride. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at DAX Call 3, because DAX Call 3, okay, fourth best performer over the period we're looking at, the last 12 months, and of course we can change that. We can make that 3 months. Let's see who's done well over the last 3 months. Global Trading Desk has made 33%. Let's go back to our 12-month view there, longer-term view. So DAX Call 3, 54% return, 12% drawdown. Let's take a look in a bit more detail. So we'll click on the name. So what we get to see here, we get to see a view of their P&L. And for me, my background is very much technical analysis and charting. So I want to see, hopefully, as smooth a trend as possible. And you can see it's been a bit of a tough year, a lot of this year, maybe since about May, DAX Call 3. It's sort of all gone a bit sideways, the P&L, drifted off, and it's only over the last 6 weeks or so that they seem to have got their mojo back, and has pushed back out to fresh highs for the P&L. So we have, I think, a good P&L chart in there. So let's have a look at a bit more information. Risk score of 1, pretty low risk. Well, that is a low risk score. It's a popular one. This one has been around for a while, but 483 followers. So pretty popular trader on the platform. Member since 14th of August 2016. So we've got reasonable track record there to go for, just over a year for the track record. So on the face of it, for me, this is an interesting one. An interesting one to keep an eye on. And since the start, 61% return since they started trading. So let's just see how that was actually achieved. So let's go down to the stats. Excuse me, volatility, pretty low volatility. Number of trades, 1,100 trades over the last 14 months. So these do tend to be active traders. So about probably 100 trades a month, something like that. Winning trades. Now this makes me a little bit worried. If I see that, for me, is a ridiculous winning trade figure. So 99.48% of trades were winners. Now, unless DAX Call 3 has got a crystal ball and can, knows exactly where the market's going to be tomorrow, it can be, for me anyway, a warning that there may be a willingness to hang on to losing trades in the hope that they turn out. So there's maybe a little bit of a black mark there. Winning months, 80%. So 80% of months, trading months, are winners. Last trade, 2nd of October. Real money trader. So even though this one has been on the platform since August last year, has been trading with real money since December last year. So we still have, a good chunk of a track record. We've still got 10 months track record with real money. And maximum drawdown, 12%, which I'm guessing was this period here from May through to August, so the account dropped by about 12%. So on the face of it, it all looks okay. Then we can see a bit more about how the profit's been made, because I think another important one, it's all well and good if they have 1 or 2 good months, but that's not very good if you have 2 good months and 10 bad months. It's almost, we are into like coin flip territory. So ideally, I think what I want to see is fairly consistent performance. Yeah, it's all right to have losing months, but not to have all of the profit focused on just 1 or 2 months. So here we go. We've got the performance 2016 when they started trading in August, I think is when they started. Down 0.5% in August, up 3.5% September, up 3.3%, up 9%, up 12% December last year. So year to date last year was 31% return. And then this year, a bit steadier, sort of 2s and 3s. A bit of a drop back, June and July. A storming September, up about 12.9% in September, and up so far for this month, 0.8%. Okay, so we can see 22% year to date. So this one, on the face of it, on their track record with real money, seems to be a half decent, consistent trader. And then if you want to, there are some further P&L metrics. I won't go through those, but I think you can see all this information anyway on the Aondo website if you go and have a look. But some further metrics down there. Then we have their open positions, so positions that they're running. So German 30, the DAX is one they're running, down €9 on that, down 10 on that. Some winning positions down here, some big winners down here that this trade is running. So you can see any open positions. That's quite a lot of open positions. And transaction history, so trades they've recently closed. So if we look at some of the closed trades that have been done in here, so you can sort by date and profit and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so on the face of it, DAX call 3 does look like an interesting trader. Someone said max drawdown, is that 12% on a trade and let the trade go against him? No, that's the account drawdown. So let's say the account, this theoretical account, had gone up to 10 grand. It's that account dropping back to 8,800, so dropping back by 12%. So it's not, it would be very rare for it to be on one trade. So it will normally be over a series of trades that are a sort of consistent losing streak gives up a chunk of the profits. Okay, so that's what the maximum drawdown is. So if you're following that person, if you had followed that person, the maximum drawdown you would experience on your account would be a similar sort of size. Okay, so that's DAX call 3. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at another one. Let's flip back and have a look at maybe someone who's a bit crazier, for want of a better word. Let's have a look at something a bit more volatile. P&L. Let's see what looks pretty volatile. I suppose Votan looks pretty volatile. Some bigger drawdowns there. Let's take a look. The second best performer. So this is Votan. So maybe if you want, and you can see the drawdown, just here. So maximum drawdown was a third. So if you'd have been following that person, your account may have grown from here, but you would have experienced giving back a third of those profits made from June through to the lows on about August the 10th. So a relatively big drawdown. But let's just whiz through the numbers for this one. 94% of trades are winners. Winning months, 83%. Last trading activity was today, 10th of October. Real money trader since March this year. So that's where they started trading with real money. Been on the platform since November last year, but started trading with real. But up until then, that's all demo based. Then from here, that's real money. And then we can, again, down here, get a feel. You can see where the damage was done, June and July. Some big losing months in June and July, but seems to have got their mojo back over the last few months at least. Okay, and down here for all traders, you can see, well, what are they trading? What assets are they trading? Where do they tend to make their money? You do tend to see that traders focus on a handful of markets. The German 30 is a popular one. That's the DAX index. Clearly, it's a volatile market. It is a popular one with plenty of these people you can copy. Okay, so that's a way of coming up with like a league table of traders who may be interesting and may be worth a follow. So let's just flip back onto the PowerPoint for a second, just to go through what we're going to go next. So we've done all of this. We've logged in. We've had a look at the rankings list. We can sort them. I sort them by P&L. You can sort them by volatility and drawdown, all that sort of stuff. And we've had a look at some of the data that we can draw down into. The next thing we do, if we've come up with a list of traders, is build a portfolio. This is where we pick traders to follow, and when we follow them, we don't start following their trades straight away. There are a couple of steps we need to go through. So we're going to follow them, go into the portfolio builder, set risk levels per trader, and then finally get them trading on our real account. So let me just jump into here. I think I might need to just take somebody out, because I think I've got 5 in my portfolio at the moment. So let me just, there's DAX call 3. Let me take that one out for now. I'll remove that one. Okay, I'll remove that one from my portfolio. And as I'm removing that trader, any open positions that they've got are going to be closed out. Okay, so let me just jump back. Let's pretend you haven't seen that yet. So what we're going to do, I'm already following the one we were looking at, DAX call 3. So let me have a look at this one, Barbara. I haven't seen that one before pop up, but let's give Barbara a follow. So there's Barbara's P&L. Now we got a relatively shorter track record here. So Barbara's been on the platform since the 7th of April, 2017. Real money. Oh, actually, this is quite an adventurous one for me. Real money trader since September 2017. Okay, so we've got a month's worth of data. But for the purposes of tonight, we will throw Barbara into the mix. So year to date, 66%. But drawdown of 20%, but with the caveat, most of this profit was done on a demo account. And I think, as we all know, if you've ever traded, it's completely different to trade with real money rather than trading on a demo. But let's give Barbara a follow. So I decide Barbara's a good one for my portfolio. I'm going to click on follow and add her in to my portfolio. So a risk warning comes up. Clearly, these people are actively trading. So just because I've decided to follow Barbara, she's still doing lots of trades. She's currently got 43 open trades. So I've got the option here to follow all of those 43 open trades. But again, the important thing is if Barbara bought the DAX yesterday and the DAX today is 50 points higher, I'm not going to get in at yesterday's price. I'm going to get in at wherever the DAX is trading now. So for me, I've got no interest in following their current open positions. I just want to follow any trades they do in the future. So I'm going to leave that unticked. And that's it. Add trader. There we go. So the next screen we go to, so there are a few in there. This is my portfolio builder. So these are all the traders that I'm following anyway. So I was following all these gentlemen and ladies before, but it's Barbara I've just added in. Okay, so I'll have trades on my account from all of these three traders. And you can see they're all real money traders. The little star next to three of them means they're popular. They've got lots of followers. And so down here, what it does is it gives me an idealized view. How would my account have performed over the last 12 months if I'd started following them 12 months ago? So the dashed line is my account. So I'd have made about, what's that, just over 40%, well 55%, there we go, 55% over the last year. If I could go back in time and follow these 5 traders, my account would have grown by 55%. And of course, the usual disclaimer, past performance does not guarantee future performance. But if I had a TARDIS, I could go back and follow these people and make a 50% return, just over 50% on my account. Now, if I was starting from scratch and I just added all of these 5 traders to copy, there are still no trades going on yet. Okay, so we haven't actually started the execution yet. And what I can do is I can choose the level of risk that I want to do for each individual trader. And this might take a little bit of getting your head around, but it's a very sensible way of doing it. First of all, let's pretend I only had one trader I was following, and that trader decides to risk losing 2% on a trade. So they buy whatever it is, but let's say the DAX. They buy the DAX, they put their stop loss 100 points away, and they trade at a size that means they're risking losing 2% of their account on that trade. If I'm following them 1 times, 1-to-1, what it means is the trade will be done on my account at the same percentage risk. So if they're trading with 100 grand, to keep the numbers easy for me, and risk losing 2%, they're risking losing £2,000 or euros or dollars, whatever. If I've got a £1,000 account, the trade will be done risking losing 2% on my account, so 20 quid in this example. So I can dial up or dial down the level of risk that I want. But because there we go. So there we go. So I'm following this one 1 times. Okay, so please select 1 times if you want to follow this top trader proportionally. If your top trader loses 2% of the capital on one trade, you would lose about 2% of capital on this trade. If I was feeling particularly bullish about this trader, Edel Metal, for example, I might decide to bump up the level of risk. So if they're risking losing 2%, I want to be double that. I'm going to risk lose 4% in this example, and so it goes on. Or if I'm not sure, let me leave that one at 1, confirm the settings. Like, let's say with Barbara. So Barbara is a new trader that I've added in to my account, but I've only got a 1-month track record to go on. I might think, well, actually, I want to bump the risk down for Barbara. So if Barbara's risking losing, in financial terms, 2% of her account, I only want to risk losing 1% on Barbara's trades. So what it means is that the stop loss will be in the same place, but the size of the trade will be smaller. So hopefully that makes sense. So it's very easy to dial in and dial out the level of risk you want to. So you can set individual amounts if you want to on the various stuff they trade. So if you think someone's a pretty hot Bitcoin trader, for example, you can dial up the risk on their Bitcoin trades. If you think they're not particularly good at trading oil, you can knock down the risk or even have no risk at all. But for me, I do it at just a high level view. Okay, what's the level of risk I want on individual traders? Okay, so I've got one for everybody, I think. So 1 times, apart from Barbara, who I've got half times because she's a new addition to my account. Minimum lot size in your account, it's complete. You'll see in a minute, it's tiny. I'm trading with an account with about, for the purposes of the webinar, about 900 quid, and I've got the risk dialed right down. And it's basically micro lots. So if they do a trade where they're risking 1%, the trade will be done on my account where I'm risking £9 or something. So it's tiny size. But you'll see that in a minute. You know, we'll have a look at the account in a minute and how it all works. Now, if I hadn't traded or set up any traders, then I'd have start execution here. But because these traders are running already, you know, the trades are going through. But it shows how easy it is. If you suddenly think, well, actually, I've got maybe the wrong approach here for following these traders. You know, it's very easy just to click on stop execution. The trades are cancelled. Any open positions you've got are closed out, and that no new trades are followed. Okay, so it's very easy just to switch it off and switch it on. Okay, so that's how it works from a portfolio builder point of view. So now they're doing it. You know, they can just sit there and happily trade away. And we'll have a look at the open positions in a minute. I'm just trying to find another screen because I've got some trades running. Here we go. So when if you'd started with a fresh account and clicked start execution now, you have another screen that you'd normally go through to. Now I've got open positions, so we'll talk about these in a second. But what you also have as a level of risk control is you have in effect a stop loss on your account balance. So we have those individual levels of risk for individual traders that we can set, but you also have an ultimate stop loss. So I've got 966 quid in the account. 23 quid of running losses at the moment, but I also have this number here. So with this number here, what I can do is just choose a level. If my account balance falls to a certain level, let's say £625, for example, then what it will do, it will close out any open positions and not open up any new positions. So you have the risk control on individual traders, then you can set basically a floor for your account. Let me just talk a bit more about risk because there's a couple of important points. Because I think risk is everything. You know, really, when trading, you know, if you've ever done any trading, you'll know how important risk control is. So we can confirm traders' individual risk levels. We can set that loss protection to that in that example, 625 quid. But there's also the Aondo negative balance protection. So you can never lose more than what's in your account. And again, if you've traded CFDs or spread betting before, you'll know that the classic risk disclaimer for most CFD and spread betting companies, you can lose more than your initial deposit. But with Aondo, you have this negative balance protection, so you can't lose more than whatever is in your account. Right, so the next thing, we've done all this, we're following traders, we've set our risk levels, we've set our stop loss on the account. The next thing to do is just keep an eye on how they're doing, and that's monitoring open positions. So we can use WeTrade, which is the platform we've been using for a high level view, and we can log into Trade Hub for a more detailed view. So let's do that. So here's my account. So here I've got lots of open positions. I've got 98 apparently open trades on my account. So so here we go. The last trade done on my account was done by Edel Metal. Bought the DAX at wherever it was, 12,974, and you can see the size, 0.025, so 2.5p a point, yeah? Because I've got the risk dialed right down, and this one has set a very wide stop loss. It's a tiny position size. So currently up a massive 6p on that trade. Joseph bought Facebook, and again you can see the size. What's that? That's 10, that's not even a penny a point. So 0.9 of a penny a point, buying it at 171, buying Facebook at 171, they're currently at 170, so I'm down a bit on that, and so it goes on. So if you want to, you can see, you know, every individual trade, but for me, what I tend to do, I only tend to look at it twice a week, because if I'm looking at these people's longer term track records, I've got no interest in checking it, every hour, because I'm looking at their longer term performance. So I'm not too bothered about how they did during the day, but I'll just log in a couple of times a week just to make sure everything is progressing okay. Okay, so and then you can scroll down and see recently closed positions. I think this one, PsychonNet, because this is the person I stopped following to add in Barbara. So it just closed a load of positions for that one. And there's other, and you can see it's tiny amounts because I've got 900 quid in the account. I've got the risk dialed right down. It's a level of risk that you really can pick and choose how much risk you want to take. So if I wanted a bit more exposure, then I just bump the risk up. But there's a more in-depth way of looking at this if you want to. So what I'm going to do is go to Trade Hub. So this is the drop-down thing from up there, drop-down menu from my profile. I can go to Trade Hub. So Trade Hub is Aondo's, inverted commas, normal trading platform. So you can do self-directed trading if you want to yourself, or you can log into the platform, or you can log into the platform to see in a bit more detail how your positions are doing. So let's just fire that up. I must admit, I don't use this for seeing how the positions are doing. I just use the high-level view. So let me switch this over. Let's switch this over to the social platform. Here we go. So you can hopefully see that on your screen. So top right, you can see that. Maybe it's in small font, but the same numbers: 966 balance, down 23 quid. If I click on here, these are all the trades. So these are all the trades that have been done and that are running at the moment on mine. If I want to, I can see individual positions. So there we go. You can see, so euro dollar, someone did a trade in euro dollar, selling 2.5p, 3.2p, and there's loads of DAX trades in there. The easiest way of looking at it, click on aggregated positions, and I can see, a consolidated position view here. So what have we got going at the moment? What's the big loser at the moment? The big loser there, Intuitive Surgical Inc., whoever they are. So one of the people I'm following has done that. Where's all the DAX trades? DAX trades losing a bit of money here. So I'm effectively long the DAX 25p a point at the moment. So all of those trades have added up to a 25p a point exposure on the DAX from 12.985. The market's currently 12.965. So I'm 20 points down on that. So I'm down a fiver or so on that. But so it's really easy to see what's going on in your account. You can look at, if you want to, look at things like the history. There we go. So I can go back and look at all the different trades that have been done on my account. I can download it into Excel, all the usual stuff. So if you really want to drill down to the nuts and bolts of what's going on, you can do it through that. And also, if you want to do some normal, inverted commas, normal trading, you can trade off this account, but you've got a wider spread. Because it's a follower account, part of the way they get rebated is through a wider spread. So if you want to trade yourself, you can just flip down here and flip into like a normal spread betting account, and you just trade more normal competitive spreads. Okay, so the Dow there is what, a 2-point spread on the Dow. If I flick back to the follower account, it's a 4-point spread. Yeah, so if you want to trade yourself, you can flip over and transfer money between the two. But for the purposes of tonight, we're talking about social trading. So there's our high-level view of what's going on my account. Okay, but for me, what I look at is not that, not PowerPoint. Oh, hang on. What I look at is that level, the we trade view, just to get a feeling, to make sure nothing's going horribly wrong on the account. Okay, so if you want to, let's just flip back onto here. So if you wanted to, in Trade Hub, you can take control of the trades. Now, I have to say, it's not something I would do, because my view is I am following these people. So I'm effectively trying to be the team manager rather than the superstar out there on the pitch scoring the goals. So my approach is very hands-off. Let them get on with it. And if someone has a bad run, or they do badly for maybe a couple of months, then consider kicking them out. But if you want to on Trade Hub, you can adjust positions, you can change the stop loss, change the target level, you can view your account history. We did a bit of that. You can run statements, and you can add funds in. If you want to increase your exposure, you might think, well, actually, I've got 900 quid at the moment. I want to increase my exposure a bit. Let's put 500 quid in. Then your trades will be increased, your future trades will be increased by 50%. You know, so you can do all of that. And we did this logging in directly from the trading platform. You can see normal key figures that I think we're all used to if we're trading, the account balance, the open P&L, all that sort of stuff. Change positions if you want to. Look at financing costs, because clearly, you know, because we're trading using leverage, there's an overnight financing aspect to this. But you know, it's all transparent, so it's all there. If you want to see it, you know, it's all there. Run statements, and that's it. But like I say, for me, I use that for maybe my own trading, flipping it over to the spread betting account. But when it comes to following individual traders and seeing how they're doing, that's the view I tend to look at, and then just sit down and review it maybe every month. You know, see, okay, has a trader, has he gone into a particularly bad run? Let's see how this one's doing. Jan A down here. We've not looked at this one before. Let's take a look at this one. So again, it's just a click. Oh, that's all going well. Their P&L is still going on. It's an interesting one, this one, Jan A. Real money trader since May 2016. So back here. Great trend. It's not a recommendation, this obviously, but great trend. 1,400 followers, and is up 26% so far this year. Was up 44% last year. So it's very easy to you know, just jump around and then go back onto my account, see how everyone's performing, and choose to you know, maybe change people around or dial the risk down or all that sort of stuff. And that's really it. You know, if you have any questions, fire them in. We've had a few questions while we've been going through this evening, but I think with this, with the high level view, it's very easy to see how it's all going, and then click to see how our individual trader's doing. And then if you really want to get into the nuts and bolts and maybe take over some control yourself, you can log into TradeHub and see what's been going on. You know, look at things like the history, add in funds. There you go. So click on transaction history. You can see things like financing and stuff like that. Add funds in, take funds out, run statements, all that sort of stuff. I think there's a lot of data in here because there are so many small trades. It takes a while to run. So I am a convert to social trading. Like anything, it's not a license to print money. You know, it really isn't. You should, you know, you should never think, oh, it's some sort of get-rich-quick thing. I think that is one of the bad things of trading. You know, that over the years, I think plenty of people come into it thinking it's easy, quick money, and it clearly isn't. You know, but I think the idea of building a team of top traders and then managing it is very complementary to your own trading. What's the leverage? I don't know. I think it's pretty standard leverage. You know, I think I mean, let's do a test. Let's do a little test for you. Let's see if I did a trade on the Dow. So I'm going to buy. Let's say I'm going to buy £1 a point on the Dow. So it's a £22,000 position, isn't it? £1 a point, 228 quid. So that's 100 times on the Dow. So that would be pretty standard, I think. So it's pretty standard levels of leverage. But for me, it's more about managing the risk and managing the risk of individual traders. So it's not, you know, it's not a get-rich-quick thing, but I think it is a way of maybe smoothing out some of the bumps of your own trading, building up a portfolio of hopefully half-decent traders to follow, and using the tools, you know, looking at drawdown, managing the risk on your account, of having just a really maybe sensible and somewhat smoothed out approach to trading the markets. And that's it. I wrote a bit about this. I set up another account and started blogging about it on my website. So if you go to my website, which is tradeafter.com, I think you'll land on the page. It's due an update, but I think I did updates February through to June, going through step by step, picking traders, real money. I think I put £2,000 in the account, and one trader blew up really spectacularly. So you can see the impact of that. That's on tradeafter.com. But it is it's pretty straightforward. I think you can open an account with like I think £1,000, and when you open an account, you can trade on a demo for 3 weeks. So you can follow people on a demo account to get a feel for, you know, the volatility and how it works. When I did a demo, first of all, I think it was back in May 2016, and made something ridiculous like 15% in a month, but it was a ridiculous level of swings in terms of volatility. The account really was all over the place. So I learned a lot about risk, about managing other traders' risk from the demo account. And I think if you open an account, you can play around with that and see how that works. But for this evening, if there are no more questions, we'll wrap things up there. For those of you who are here live, there will be a recording, I think, sent out automatically. So if any bits you want going over again, you should get sent the link to the recording a bit later on, I think, this evening. And if you have any questions, just drop me an email. My email address is david@tradeafter.com. So drop me an email on that. And that's it. Tomorrow we do a regular webinar. Wednesday lunchtime webinar is the market outlook webinar and a bit of trading strategy. So that's all about self-directed trading. So that's at 12:30 tomorrow. If you register for that, but you can't make it, you'll get sent the link to the recording. So that's when we do every week, looking at big levels to watch in the markets, trends, all that sort of stuff. It's got a bit interesting this week. We've seen a bit of a rally in the euro. I'm just looking at it now. It's up about, what's it up, the euro? Maybe, oh, it's only, I suppose, 150 points or so from Friday's low. But that's Wednesday webinar, we do that. And we'll do another social trading webinar later this month. We tend to do 2 of those a month. But for this evening, we'll wrap it up. I will let you get on with your evenings. Thanks for coming along this evening. And I said just give it a whirl. Open an account, try it on a demo for a bit, put a bit of money in, dial the risk right down, and see how maybe it could work for you as part of your own trading. Okay, we'll wrap things up there. Thanks for coming along.